how to raise your prices without losing customers. That is the video of the day. Two specific things that I want to teach you is first, not really just how to raise prices, but why you absolutely need to be charging more for what you're likely already doing. Secondly, at the end of the video, I'm going to bring you back here and I'm going to teach you how to actually implement this technique into your life. I'm going to give you some links that will help educate you if you really want to dig in, you really want to learn, you really want to improve your life, you really want to become more profitable as a detailer. That's my goal. So let's get started and go out on location. And our test subject, a 2013 Lexus RX model. Let's start on the outside. For example, the wheel wells. Now they have this felt material, and many of you have asked, how do you clean those? It is more difficult than just the old school plastic materials. So everywhere you look on the cars, they get more and more complex, complicated, enhanced, embellished, you can call it what you want. And this is what makes it difficult as a detailer, is that no longer are you dealing with the simplistic, but as cars progress, they always find ways to improve them, quote unquote improve them, make them look fancier. They are fancier, they are better in ways, but it makes your job more difficult with the endless embellishments on the outside, never mind the inside. So let's go on the inside. Now SUVs, trucks, and vans are the worst, but this applies across the spectrum of all types of cars, which is they're and thumbs up to all the engineers, because they're engineering compartments into every last conceivable space for utility. So no longer do you just have a simple door panel to clean. Now it's a door panel with a, not just a pocket holder, but one that pops out. And it's not just a cubby hole or a pocket holder. Now it's also got a deep cup holder way down in here. So everything gets complicated, complex, you can call it what you want. So not only do you have, let's just say this was a wider opening and you could actually get into it without pulling it out. So this is a cool feature because now you can pull it out and have access to more of it. But the problem is, as a detailer, that just means more moving parts that you have to clean and to worry about getting the details right. So if this was molded in a single piece, all you would need to worry about is here, inside there. Now you get to worry about inside there, the deeper cup holder that's way down there that sits even below the floor line. But then you also have inside here and the mechanisms in here to detail. So every part of the car will get more and more complex, which is why, I mean, now you've got glove compartments, they've got separate little cubby holes in the glove compartment that you have to worry about. Let's take a look at the center console. So back in the day, typical center console, you have a pop-up, now you have cup holders. You have a removable divider for the cup holders. Everything, especially with spills, is going to complicate your world and make detailing it much more detailed, i.e., more time. Time equals money. Therefore, wait for it, you need to be charging more. What you might run into is the customer that says, hey, my car's only a year old. It only has 5,000 miles on it. Well, guess what? Dirt is no respecter of areas. What that means is dirt does not discriminate. It goes everywhere, and dirt can be as subtle as simple dust. Dust floats around and will settle everywhere. So you can't just kind of touch something up. You either clean it or you don't. You touch it, because once you touch it, then you can see exactly where you touched, exactly where you did not touch. So you can't, just kind of touch it up, because that's so ambiguous. That's where you have to clarify with your customer. And if you have a customer like that anyways, you already know that they're being cheap. So your warning light should be going off. So beware of the customer that says, hey, it's a brand new car, doesn't have that many miles on it, how dirty can it be? Well, that's only one of the factors. Is A, it could be very, very dirty. B, maybe not that dirty at all, but it's got so many compartments and nuances now engineered into it because it's a newer car versus a car that's 5 years old. So let's say you're familiar with doing a Lexus RX from 5 years ago. Now you're on this brand new one, or this 2013, which isn't brand new, but I've done enough of these over the years since they've come out, where they keep figuring out ways to engineer more and more compartments into the equation, which means more stuff for you to clean. Therefore, you need to charge more. So if you're not charging more, you're screwing yourself, because time is money, unless you have the capacity or the ability to manage your customers' expectations. So here we have the center compartment. Used to be pretty straightforward. Now they have a removable little tray here. I don't know if it's gonna show, but here you have this tray here. But guess what? Look at it, actually opens up to a tray even deeper down here. So not only do you have the top of the tray, this compartment down here, but you've got the trim of the cover to detail. Underneath here, this thing, yep, see how it slides? So you think, oh, yep, I nailed it. And then suddenly you realize, oh, it slides and I forgot to clean under here. Well, Johnny customer's gonna be disappointed when they pop it up and realize that you forgot to clean under there. So that's the point, is that you can dissect a car. Like, look at this little joystick. You know, this controls the nav screen. So you've got the shifter here. You've got this little moving joystick here. So not only is it stationary, which would make it difficult enough, but now it actually moves. So in some respects, that makes it easier to clean because you can move it from side to side to clean it. But you also have this mechanism underneath there that controls that movement, which makes it more difficult. Now here in the back, this is the trick that some customers do, is they'll take the back mat and they'll flip it over, and this becomes their more user-friendly or durable cargo mat. But that's not the point. The point is that here in the mat, you have the compartment under here, ba-bam, compartment in here, ba-bam. Then you've got these little side compartments, ba-bam. So, and you've got a handle here, which pulls this whole thing down. So it's just endless. And like I said, SUVs, trucks, vans, they are notorious because the seats will fold down, reconfigure in endless formats. Some of them actually pull out very easily, so you can remove them and your car becomes more versatile. But that versatility makes it difficult for you as a detailer to clean everything. So that's why if you're not charging more money, just by the simple fact of cars are becoming more complex, you will slowly be digging yourself into a hole. Your profitability is going to be shrinking. At best, you would want your profitability to remain constant, as in your profit margin. Better would be your profit margin to actually increase. That's what I'm constantly working towards, is how to increase the profit margin. Now, half of that, let's just say, actually I always reduce it down to a 60-40 rule. And I think I say 40% is technique and products, knowledge, techniques and how you go about things, your effectiveness and efficiency. 60% is the intangibles, things like communication skills, risk management, managing your customers' expectations. Those kinds of things not only develop trust, but develop value in your services and can make you more profitable versus less profitable. So don't forget to subscribe. If you're an up-and-coming detailer, you want to get into the business, you want to learn the tricks of the trade, or you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, whatever. If you like what you see, thumbs up it, thumbs down it, I don't care. Leave me a comment. Follow me on my social media. If there's any questions, just look at the About. On my channel, it'll say About. There's all kinds of links in there. And below each of these videos, there's always going to be a link to my website so you can help support this cause. So here we are back at home, my home office. hopefully I have opened your eyes to something that you might call, or what I would call, the elusive obvious. You may have been watching this video, and I have such a vast type of community viewers. Everyone's coming in with different levels of experience. It's just all over the board, put it that way. So it's really hard to, laser point one specific audience. With that said, is you may have watched that video, I don't know how much you endured of it, and you thought, well, wait, I already know that, Darren. I mean, duh. But yet you're not doing something about it. So, duh, why the hell not? And you may say, well, duh, I don't know why not. So, duh, let's do something about it. The trick is, and this is where presentation and communication come in, which I'm going to default to one of my rules, and I call it Darren's 40-60 rule. What does that mean? It means this. When it comes to operating a successful detailing business, because you can have a detailing business, you can have a busy detailing business, you can have a busy detailing business that is not very profitable, or you can have one that's very profitable as well as one that's actually thriving and growing. So there's all these different levels of detailing businesses, and that's what's so frustrating is you got other guys, they have channels, and that doesn't mean you can't learn from their channel, because I learn stuff from their channel. Sometimes it's simply what not to do. And maybe that's what you're going to learn on my channel, is maybe what not to do. Whatever. Point is just because you have a detailing business doesn't mean that you're actually successful or profitable, or you know how to market it, or you know how to grow it. Those are vastly different skill sets. And that comes under the category of the 60%. So let me define that for you. 40% of a detailing business is what I will reduce down to the tangibles, the techniques, the products, the processes of actually hands-on detailing. The 60%, which if you're a numbers person, 60 is bigger than 40. So a bigger part of a detailing business to be successful, profitable, and growing is what I call the intangibles: presentation, communication, building value, delivering value, all these kinds of things that you can't really put your hands on, you can't touch it, feel it, smell it. So those are the kinds of things that can literally make or break your world, or take you from barely making a profit to massive profits. And that's what I've done over specifically the past 8 years with my websites and other forms of marketing. Is my goal has been to literally see how profitable I can become. Seriously, that is my goal. And that's not the moment where it's the ends justify the means, which means that I'm not going to use any method I can just to pinch out as much profits as possible, because I live under the principle that it always has to be a win-win for both sides. So if both sides of the equation do not have a win, then I don't do the deal. So not only does my customer have to win and get value, but I have to get win, and for me that means making a profit. So how do you do that? That's the intangibles. 60% of the business. I know that's an arbitrary number. That's just the numbers that I've assigned to it, because to me, after 30 plus years of living this world, that's what I would put it at. So I want to show you how to take today's lesson and deliver it to your customers, whether it's a new customer, a potential customer, an existing customer, whatever, because it's really, how do you charge more than you're currently charging, or how do you increase your prices that you're currently charging? So in order to do this, you need to understand the context. And then the next step is, how do you communicate that concept to your customer so that they understand it? So let me start off by this. If you really want to do some research, and this is what I tell many guys, because I do mentoring and I do consulting, and it's not cheap. I charge $200 an hour. You can find it on my website. There'll be a link below this video, and trust me, that's not cheap, but 30 plus years of experience did not come cheap either. And that consulting's not for everyone. It's not how to learn detailing from A to Z. It's when you have very specific and likely immediate problems that you need resolved, that's where I can come in. It's kind of like hiring an attorney. It's like, man, if I had that piece of information, it will save me thousands of dollars. So when you look at the possibility of losing thousands of dollars or paying someone $100 for half an hour or $200 for an hour, suddenly you're like, yeah, hell yeah, that's worth it. I can't answer that for you, but it's there. Point being is that I want to teach you something that you can actually use in your world. Part of that is communicating it to your customer, which is largely has to do with how do you communicate something to them so that they have proper context or proper understanding or full understanding, which once they do, then you can actually develop value. Now, they may have the full understanding, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to value it, or it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to assign the same value on it that you have. But what I do know is that until you at least do that, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting what you want, which is increasing your prices for potential customers or current customers. So that video is how you do it. You have to explain to the customer, because the general rule is that most of your customers will at a large level be ignorant. And that's not to disparage the world at large. That's just a statement. I'm just reporting from my experiences. People don't understand it because they don't live it. What they live is their busy life, their busy schedule. They have a car. They decide, hey, I need to get it detailed. To them, for many people, a detail is just like a glorified wash. So when I come in and say, hey, yeah, I'll detail your car, my prices start at $350. You're like, WTF, $350? Well, what they've done is they've associated it naturally with a car wash, the car wash mentality. It's like, hey, my car to get it washed costs like $15, $20, and suddenly you want to charge me at a minimum $350 to detail it? I mean, seriously, how's that impossible? So to answer that specifically, and this is how you can get basically mentoring from me for free, aside from these videos, which is you go to my website. There will be a link below this video. If you hover on the show more and you click on it, it will drop down. There's always going to be additional links there. So go to those links and I will label them. Car detailing prices of Orange County. Car detailing prices. Shopping value, not prices. What is the difference? So if you read through that, and it's amazing to me when I tell guys this, because I'm thinking if I was one of you guys, it's like, hey man, I'd like to pick Darren's brain. The dude's been at it 30 plus years. If I could get him on the phone, ask him a few questions. Well, this is where I'm going to help out a lot of you, hopefully, because I can't take all those calls. It's impossible. It's literally unrealistic. If you go to my website though, you can see exactly how I write. Why do I write that way? Because that's how I communicate to my customers. They're not necessarily going to pick up the phone and call me, but now they can do what I call performing their due diligence. Investigating me as a person, seeing how I am different or unique, which is what's called my unique value proposition, which means, why am I different than my competitors? Why would you choose me versus somebody else? Because I exist in a highly saturated market. Every day I can go out and at a minimum see at least 4 other mobile detailers bouncing around detailing cars just like myself. At a minimum, 4. Some days it's far worse. I've been in parking lots where there's 2 other detailers working in the same parking lot as myself. So when you complain about your area, it's like, oh, there's so many detailers, blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, I get it. I live it every day. Completely saturated here. But how am I able to survive? How am I able to be so profitable? How am I able to grow my business year after year after year in a very highly saturated market? Well, that's where the intangibles come in. Presentation, communication skills, the ability to develop value, the ability to articulate value to your customer in a way that makes sense to them. So that's what I'm trying to teach you, and that's why I will have those links below so you can see how I structure my website, my individual pages, and I talk to my customer through written language, the written word, and I develop the value. I develop the trust. I separate myself. I'm not the, hey, use me because I have a passion for details. It's like, okay, what guy doesn't have a passion for details that's in the detailing business? You can see that in virtually every website. This is a family-owned business. I mean, how many times have you heard that tagline? Oh, we treat you just like family. Well, guess what? Take a look around, folks. Have you ever noticed how family treats family? A lot of times it's pretty damn crappy. So if we're going to apply logic to that unique value proposition, which is anything but unique, do you really want to be treated like family? I'm going to say probably not. So if you were to peruse the different websites of detailing, you'll see that most people, or a large percentage of the guys or owners, are literally doing this for their marketing. I don't really know what to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to the left and I'm going to look to the right and see what my competitors are doing, and I'll just copy them. Well, guess what? Now you've just become invisible. It's just noise to your customer. I want signal. I don't want noise. I don't want static. I want signal. But how do you create a signal that's unique and different to your competitors? That's where you have to come up, but that's where you can look at my site and you can read it. And I'm amazed how many guys come back in return and say, damn, dude, that was there all along. I don't know why I didn't think to look at that myself. It's like, I don't know either. That's probably one of the strategies I would do is like, hey, let's see what Darren's doing. I'm going to go to his website, see what he's charging. And by the way, if you want to copy it, by all means, feel free, but with a big fat warning. And that's called the search engines. If you copy my web pages exactly, the search engines consider that duplicate content, and you will actually be red flagged for duplicate content. And you will be kicked way down to the end of the search engine results because they don't like duplicate content. And they, as in the search engines, know exactly when I built my page, so they, with their algorithms, will know exactly which came first. So you can borrow the ideas, the concepts from it. You have my permission to do that. But don't, unless you just want to and take the risk, don't copy it word for word. You've got to put it into your own language, because guess what? Trust is everything. So if you show up and your customer read all this info on your website, and now suddenly what's coming out of your mouth once you're in front of them and it doesn't align with how you spoke or wrote on your website, and it seems completely different, guess what? You've just diminished your trust with them rather than enhance your trust with them. So that's a little word of caution. And by the way, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have some experience and you have a unique technique, and whether you think it's that unique or not really is irrelevant because you just don't know. Just like this video. Many of you may be watching it and think, oh, duh, like as if Darren, teach me something I don't already know. So that's a possibility. Point is make a comment. Let me know. I do as much as I can to read the comments and respond the first week or so of the video airing on YouTube, but you can help out other guys. So I'm trying to help you, but you can then help out other guys that will see this video. They'll scroll down, read the comments, and perhaps your experience can then help them. I think that's what they call paying it forward. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it's called. So let's go with that plan. Until next video, hopefully you have learned a little something.